Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, if you're a sports bettor or a fantasy sports player, you must be pulling your hair out given the COVID situation in professional sports right now.
Well, you know, it's nothing new anymore. That's the problem. It's almost expected.
I mean, it just seemed to explode over the last week. I mean, it's over 100 players right now in the NFL. I know a lot of hockey players are sitting out now. There are some coaches sitting out. It's just absolutely amazing. And when you're trying to think of these in terms of sports betting and setting your fantasy lineups, it can be quite challenging. But first off, we hope that everyone's okay and healthy and things like that. So it looks like it's not a life-threatening situation to these athletes. But if you're trying to plan out your sports bets and set your fantasy lineups, it's quite challenging.
It's also challenging for the TV networks, too. I mean, if you have a game that's canceled because of COVID,
I'm not seeing
you got to change your program.
I'm not seeing anything canceled yet. So.
I saw a couple of hockey games.
Hockey games and basketball games.
Yep.
I'm not seeing anything with regard to the NFL being canceled
No,
yet,
but
so.
I have to admit, last year when the NFL was juggling the schedule and moving the games around because of COVID, they actually did an extremely good job moving them around, and they found a way to actually make sure that each week's games were gotten in on time. And, I didn't see too much of a disruption in their operations either.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, if the NFL does have to cancel or reschedule a game, I mean, we're coming down to the end of the season, so it's really, really be difficult to even attempt to move a game.
Here's an interesting thought. What happens if COVID hits the Super Bowl teams?
I don't know. Boy, you're coming toward the playoffs and,
I'm talking
Super
about
Bowl
even when the Super Bowl is set.
For the NFL,
What happens if you have a COVID problem with the Super Bowl?
What a mess.
That'll be an interesting situation.
Very, very interesting. Well, we got a great show coming up for you. We got a Beatin The House segment. We got our NFL picks coming up. We have a book report, and I will be interviewing John Collins and Richard Hasson from Super Group, which also includes Betway. And I told him this during the interview. I saw Betway one time during a hockey game, and I haven't stopped hearing about Betway. And they're doing amazing things in this country and in Europe and all over the world. And we're going to hear all about Super Group and Betway when we come back for my interview with John Collins and Richard Hasson. It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
We have another survey to talk about in terms of the sports betting industry.
The greatest thing about the sports betting industry are the industries that pop up around it, and it's just the marketing, research teams, and the organizations, and the data analytics of who's doing what and who's betting on who and how are ads affecting people. It's just absolutely amazing.
I have never been aware of this many surveys in my life. Right? I mean, I see them in politics all the time.
Oh yeah,
but in terms of an industry that's pretty much still brand new in this country, the amount of polling, the amount of statistics, and I'm not talking about the games, I'm talking about statistic in terms of people you talk to.
Have you ever been approached by a survey or to take a survey about sports betting?
No, but then again, you may, depending upon, when you go to some of the online newspapers, you may come across one of those surveys that pop up before you can read an article.
I actually ran across one. I don't know if it's that kind of survey you're talking about. I think I went on the website for, it's called NESN, New England Sports Network, and before it was a pop-up. And they wanted to know, do you sports bet, on what sports do you bet on, and things like that. So that was as close as being approached for a survey as I have come.
That may be one of the more subtle approaches to doing a survey.
By the way, I didn't fill it out.
But this one is a sports betting brand visibility survey.
Okay.
Done by the group YouGov. It's a market research and data analytics firm, and this is for North America. they polled 1,100 people, almost 1,200 people, 1,178 people, who had been exposed to sports betting advertisements within the last month of when they were conducting this research.
Okay.
37% recalled DraftKings.
Well, that's great for DraftKings.
37% was the highest amount for any one sportsbook.
I'm trying to think of the DraftKings commercial I'm seeing and why it was so popular.
I remember when they had multiple people there from the different TV shows doing the betting and all that stuff. I can't think of any of their names.
Now, wait, who is the comedian who there was a whole bunch of well-known people. I don't know their names, but I've seen them on TV shows.
Yeah, you recognize them, but I don't know their names. But
so I think that was a DraftKings one.
DraftKings was first with 37%.
All right.
FanDuel had 30%.
Martin Lawrence.
There you go.
Yeah. I was trying to think, who did I see in that commercial? That's DraftKings, right?
You mean Jamie Foxx? Or are you talking
No,
about
Jamie Foxx is BetMGM.
I don't know who Martin Lawrence is with. I can't tell you it's DraftKings. Mm-hmm. So, but FanDuel was 30%. Caesars Sportsbook was third. 19% of the people polled remember seeing it.
Okay.
Then BetMGM and Barstool came in fourth and fifth. BetMGM had 16%. Barstool had 10%.
I see BetMGM all over New Jersey. The airwaves, they dominate the airwaves, especially in the morning. It seems I see a lot of BetMGM in the morning.
Yeah, this was only TV.
Okay.
Because radio, I hear everybody on the radio.
And
maybe that's because we work in that industry more, a lot. But, it's just one of those situations where it's kind of interesting that BetMGM, which has one of the higher market shares in the country, is one of the lowest recognized, or least recognized, I should say, in terms of the people that were polled here.
Interesting, yeah.
They did another poll. They surveyed 2,200 young respondents, ages between 18 and 23, about sports betting advertisements.
Okay.
This is now they actually did it in a certain way where they did the entire country, and then they focused on the people who were in sports betting legalized states.
Okay.
47% out of the 2,200 respondents couldn't remember seeing any betting advertisement.
Okay.
But that's all 50.
It's very interesting.
It's only half the country has legalized sports betting.
Well, also legalized sports betting, there are different age requirements in different states. In New Jersey, it's 21. In some states, it's 18, which I'm shocked about.
Well, this takes into account all the states.
Okay.
When they narrowed it down to just the legalized sports betting states, only 21% couldn't recall seeing any advertisements.
They couldn't?
They couldn't.
Okay.
68% noted seeing at least one advertisement a day. 56% recalled having seen more than one advertisement a day.
One of these days, that kind of made me think about it. I mean, I'm constantly seeing, for TV anyway, sports betting advertisements in New Jersey, because we have New Jersey channels, we have New York channels, we have Philadelphia channels, and I'm going to make an effort to count the amount of commercials I see in one day, because it's got to be staggering.
Oh, yeah. No,
it's just nonstop.
It's almost nonstop. I mean, I remember one commercial break in a television show I was watching. They had 4 commercials. The first 3 in a row were sportsbook ads.
I kind of remember a couple of years ago, what was the downfall in a lot of states for daily fantasy was just the constant advertising. And I'm kind of worried about, I hope sports betting doesn't go down that rabbit hole, just like draft or the daily fantasy.
Funny you should say the last number I'm going to throw out from this poll.
Okay.
54% think that gambling operators should be careful with their marketing campaigns.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's my point. I mean, boy, I remember, like I said, a couple of years ago, that was the downfall. That made everyone, like, their ears perk up about the daily fantasy industry, and it kind of got them into a little bit of trouble. But hopefully they, we have learned from that kind of marketing tactic.
Exit 2.
We've got an eSports tournament to talk about today.
Yes, the Hard Rock down in Atlantic City is having a betting event, which is a eSport contest.
They are having the very first sanctioned wagering eSports event.
Great.
eSports Entertainment Group, who we've had on the show, Grant Johnson, CEO, great guy.
Yeah. Oh, no, great. Boy, is he busy, too. Making the deals and doing this great thing down in Atlantic City.
He's got that huge deal with the Hall of Fame Resort over in Canton, Ohio for the eSports complex there. But they just announced this deal, and it's with the Hard Rock Atlantic City. On January 22nd and 23rd, they're going to be doing a competition they're calling Land Duel.
Land Duel.
Yes.
LAN Duel.
Yes.
Huh? Okay.
And they're hoping this is going to be the first of many events down in Atlantic City, and especially with the Hard Rock. They're hoping there's a more permanent situation coming down the road as a result of this first event. It's been a long time coming.
No, where are they having it in Hard Rock? I've been all over Hard Rock, and I'm trying to think of where they're going to have it. Is it like a concert space?
I haven't seen exactly
they have a
where
huge
they're going to be
concert
doing,
area.
but I think that may be where they're doing it, because I remember when we went to the grand opening of the Hard Rock,
that
hall that we were in.
Yeah, that was great.
That is probably where they're going to be doing it.
They had the guitar break.
Right.
That's what they do for every opening of a Hard Rock. They have everyone on stage, and they break a guitar.
Well, this is going to be a 2-day, 256-player in-person tournament, so they're going to need space like that. Maybe multiple spaces.
I would bet you it's in that room we were in.
But this is going to be the first skill-based gaming event approved by the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement. And you're going to be able to wager on the event itself. And also, this is interesting. The participants are going to be able to wager on themselves or any other person in the event.
Huh, okay.
That's kind of a weird setup there.
That's interesting.
That's a little different than normal sports betting aspects of everything. I mean, normally you don't see, that's like saying a football player can bet on himself on a prop bet or or his team or whatever. I think somebody by the name of Pete Rose got into that situation. But it's kind of an interesting setup. It's really nice to see that eSports is really, really starting to take off in terms of having a wagering event.
Now, I know that Hard Rock has a sports book and a sports betting area. Is that the only place I'll be able to place a bet on this event, or is it going to be an online kind of thing?
As far as I know, no sports books have announced that they're going to be having the odds for this event yet. I'm sure when it gets closer, you're going to start seeing a lot of the books announce they're going to be doing this.
I would guess Hard Rock would. I mean, you can place a bet at Hard Rock, I would think.
I would assume you'd be able to place a bet anywhere.
All right, yeah.
It's not a collegiate event, so it's not going to be banned in New Jersey. So, it's one of those things where players competing in the event check in, create their own account. They're assigned a PC, and then they begin. You can't bring your own equipment.
Oh, okay.
So they're actually going to be able to, control the actual hardware that
I'm going to try and get there because, I have never actually seen a live esport event, and I'd love to see it.
Well, this is also for the non-esports participant. They're going to set up an entire area for non-tournament participants. You can go and play in a side match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You mean if I'm not part of the tournament and I want to try my hand at esports, I can.
They're going to have a place.
I can have a place that I can actually try it out. Huh?
Exactly.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's January 22nd and 23rd, Hard Rock, Atlantic City. Congratulations, Grant, for getting that up and running.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun to see.
I hope it's the first of many.
Exit 3.
Okay, this exit we've for some reason over the last couple of weeks has become the cryptocurrency blockchain NFT exit.
Oh, more. Boy, NFTs are in the news everywhere.
We've got two little stories here to talk about here. We've got blockchain poker and NFT rugby.
Huh, okay.
We'll start with the blockchain poker. This is from Virtue Gaming. They're trying to introduce the first legal poker player pool nationally using the play-to-earn technology.
Okay.
Play-to-earn technology is a business model that relies on blockchain technology where whatever you earn playing in these games has some kind of ownership in terms of the blockchain technology underneath it where you can actually unlock other aspects of the game or buy and sell other people's or your own. There's an ownership attachment to this technology.
Since it doesn't sound like it's money in and money out, will this be allowed to be played in the U.S.?
That is what they're hoping.
Okay. So
again, you're dealing with a poker tournament. Mm-hmm. What they're doing here, Virtue Gaming uses...
It's almost like a sweepstakes law. I mean, you kind of you win the chips, but the chips aren't really worth money. It's just the amount of chips puts you in position to win certain prizes, kind of thing.
Exactly. They're doing
finding the loophole kind of thing.
They're using this model to create a peer-to-peer online poker site.
Okay. It should be interesting how the regulators treat this.
It's going to have cash games with multi-token wagering. It's not going to be U.S. dollars.
Okay.
You're going to be using an Ethereum-based blockchain currency to create this, and you're going to be using the tokens to create whatever you want in terms of some kind of asset-based winning.
Okay.
As part of this online poker. And it's going to be interstate. It's not going to be one state only. They're hoping to do interstate just like it used to be before Black Friday.
Well, look, like if it's not money in, money out, they may be able to do it. It looks like they might be able to do it. Who knows?
Well, it's a step in the direction of nationalizing online poker.
Sure,
again.
sure.
And it may be the way to go. I mean, it seems there's some resistance to a national online poker system in this country again, but doing it from a blockchain or a cryptocurrency standpoint may be the way to do it.
Yeah.
The other NFT story we have here, we have Virtual Sports Exchange, ASX Sports, will be bringing NFT-enabled fantasy gaming to rugby fans.
Wow, okay, rugby.
I don't know anything about rugby. I know it's very popular, though.
It's very popular. It's fun to watch. I gotta tell you, it's really fun to watch.
It's fun to watch. I don't know the rules, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the scrum, and I see them kicking the ball around.
Those guys are crazy, though, man, to be playing like that without really any protection. Sometimes you see guys wearing these kind of like these leather helmets.
The old leatherhead helmets.
But, other than that, some of these guys have no helmets. There's certainly no body protection whatsoever, and these guys are running around hitting each other like, And
they're as big as football players.
It's like U.S. football without the protection.
Which is amazing. They don't have the same kind of injury situation that football players have.
I watched a whole rugby match one time, and no one got hurt. No one got hurt.
Yeah, you don't hear about injuries too much in rugby.
I don't know why, because they're hitting each other without any helmets on and without any padding on. It's absolutely incredible.
Well, ASX Sports has signed a long-term agreement with Sky New Zealand's global digital rugby platform, Rugby Pass. Rugby Pass will be supplying data to ASX so that the NFTs that they're going to be selling will be able to be gamified into a fantasy sports platform for the rugby industry.
Great.
So they have an audience already of over 10 million people.
Rugby's popular.
Rugby Pass.
Especially in Europe. Rugby's popular.
Rugby's huge.
Exit 4.
Last but not least, we have Vegas in the news again in terms of the NFL.
Oh, lots of things are happening with Vegas and the NFL.
It's amazing how the NFL has quickly changed its tune in terms of, we don't want gambling involved, but where are we going to put the Super Bowl? We're going to put the Super Bowl in the home of gambling, Las Vegas.
Well, look, I mean, the one thing Las Vegas has that the Super Bowl needs is lots of hotel rooms in a reasonable distance from the stadium, and Vegas is just made for that.
Well, this is one aspect where Vegas is very happy of the expanded NFL schedule, because the extra week in the NFL schedule pushed the Super Bowl back to Mardi Gras.
Oh, okay.
So they couldn't have it in New Orleans, which it was originally planned to do.
Oh, okay.
So they had to get it out because of the Mardi Gras celebrations, because there's too many people in terms of rooms and hotels.
What year are we talking about the Super Bowl in Vegas?
This is 2024.
2024, okay.
This will be Super Bowl 58.
They might have some problems with regard to New Orleans going forward now. It's Mardi Gras is it kind of the same time every year? Will it hit the Super Bowl time every year?
Well, we'll find out, because not only was New Orleans bumped out of 2024, they are now being given it given the Super Bowl for 2025.
So I guess they made all the computations, and they looked at the calendars, and they said it's not going to conflict with Mardi Gras.
There must be something in terms of the Mardi Gras calendar that puts it in a different week.
Well,
the next year
Mardi Gras
is Ash Wednesday.
It's Ash Wednesday, and that's based on Easter, and Easter is based on the cycle of the moon for some. I don't know
Sunday
the technical
after a full moon.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So it kind of, I'm surprised we're still doing holidays like that, but it's it all depends on the celestial calendar.
Well, this news was approved at the owners' meetings that are being held in Dallas last week.
Okay,
and it's not actually kind of the first time Vegas has gotten involved with the NFL here. I mean, you got the Raiders there with Allegiant Stadium, which is where the Super Bowl is going to be held. Las Vegas is also going to be hosting next year's NFL draft.
Okay.
That'll be fun to see.
Well, they were supposed to host it the year of the pandemic.
2020.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And from what I understand, the plans for the Vegas draft was very expansive of the Strip. It was going to be. It
looked amazing. I saw the how they were going to do the stage and things like that, and then all of a sudden, COVID hit and you couldn't do it.
Well, they're going to have the draft for this upcoming draft here.
Okay.
They also are going to be hosting the 2022 Pro Bowl. I wonder if people are going to skip out on that one.
Boy, I got to tell you, I when I was a kid, I used to love the Pro Bowl. Now, when they did the Pro Bowl when I was a kid, it was before the Super Bowl. No, wait. No, it was after the Super Bowl.
It was the week after the Super Bowl.
It was after the Super Bowl because, the players that played in the Super Bowl played in the Pro Bowl, and that was great. But now no one plays in the Pro Bowl anymore. I think they play one time just to say they did it, and now they don't play it
Well, I
anymore.
wonder if Hawaii had anything to do with it, too.
Yeah, it used to be held in Hawaii all the time.
Well, I'm talking about with the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl. Now with Vegas getting the Pro Bowl, the Super Bowl that year is also held on the West Coast.
Okay.
Because the Super Bowl now for the next 3 years, you're going to have SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles is this year's Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. State Farm Stadium in Arizona is going to host the 2023 Super Bowl, and Vegas gets to 2024. And the Pro Bowl is at 2022, which is kind of close to SoFi Stadium.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
exactly.
Look, you got good weather and things like that.
There's no excuse now if people don't want. It's kind of there's no travel really involved.
Yeah, well.
If you think about it, especially the Super Bowl teams, you may see some of the Super Bowl people play.
And today's Trip Down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a great show coming up for you. We got a Beatin the House segment. We got our Week 15. Is it Week 15 NFL?
Week 16.
Week 16 NFL picks. Week 16, unbelievable. Then we got a book report. What, were you going to say something, Doug?
Yeah, it's just going too fast.
I know.
I'm just shaking my head.
This whole thing, this whole NFL season's a blur. But our Week 16 NFL picks, we're going to have a book report. But coming up right after this, I'm talking with John Collins and Richard Hasson from Super Group and especially Betway. Betway, you see it all over the place. It's such an amazing sports book. You can.
It's an amazing company.
It absolutely is. It's huge in Europe. It's growing here, and we're going to find all about it coming up right after this when I talk with John Collins and Richard Hasson from Super Group. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Auto Accident Help Desk is a marketing agency connecting callers with attorneys. Providers pay a fee for advertising services.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant, and insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering. Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident victims like you every day.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. Plus, free shipping! Always sent in discreet packaging. Go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus the 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. That's BABE16, because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. I am Dave Weishattle.
One of the most interesting aspects of the sports betting and gambling industry is the incredible people that come together and create something special. And in my opinion, one of the most special creations that has emerged in the gaming business is an organization called Super Group. We're going to find out all about Super Group because on the line we have John Collins, the CEO of Sports Entertainment Acquisition Group, and Richard Hasson, the president and COO of Super Group. John and Richard, thank you so much for coming on.
Hey, Dave, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be here.
Oh, it's absolutely my pleasure. But before we start talking about Super Group, I want to ask you both about your backgrounds because the experience you have in the gaming and sports industry is absolutely incredible. Richard, I want to start with you. How did you become involved in sports and the gaming industry, and what led you to Super Group?
Thanks, Dave. So I'm originally from South Africa. In South Africa, I qualified as a chartered accountant. I then moved over to the UK, where I went to grad school, after which I spent a few years at Goldman Sachs in London in the investment banking division. That was my first exposure to the online sports betting and gaming industry. And after a few years there, I joined a company in the UK, Win Technologies, which today is part of the Super Group. And I've been there for just shy of 10 years.
John, you also have an incredible business background. For our listeners, what is the Sports Entertainment Acquisition Group, and what led you to the gaming industry, and in particular to combine your organization with Super Group?
Sure. Well, my partner in Sports Entertainment Acquisition Group is Eric Grubman, and Eric has a similar but a little different background than me. Eric really started, he's a nuclear submarine engineer. He went to Naval Academy. He went to Goldman Sachs, did M&A for a long time, was a partner there. And then he came into the sports business really through Goldman Sachs. He started the sports business there. I think selling, the first deal was really selling the New England Patriots to the Kraft family. We crossed paths. I have 25 years. I have 15 years, with the NFL, a couple tours of duty, really at the league office, sitting at the at the tip of the spear in terms of, marketing and sales and programming. I have a couple of years as the president and CEO of the Cleveland Browns, and then I came back to New York and was the chief operating officer for the National Hockey League for 9 years. But Eric and I, knew each other, and then we kind of crossed over in a private equity-backed startup that was called On Location Experiences, which had spun out of the NFL. It was an experiential event business, mostly focused on the Super Bowl. And we spent 4 years building that up from, 16 million of revenue to 700 million of revenue in 4 years, and ultimately sold the company to Endeavor. And after that, I was very happy to sort of spend a little time with the family and maybe relax a little bit after kind of a long, pretty intense career. And Eric just wanted to keep going. So he had this first idea about raising money through a SPAC, which I had never really heard about. I warmed to the idea. Back in October last year, we raised $450 million through investors. And mostly, we talked about our experience in the sports and entertainment sector. We talked about the kinds of companies that, might be of interest to us in that sector. But we never really, and coming from the NFL and the NHL, frankly, there have been a lot of innovations, particularly on the media side. But one of the innovations that I think people have been talking about, really for 20 years. I know for me, it started when David Hill, first came over to the NFL through Fox, when Fox got the broadcast rights. And we were kicking around kind of their vision for how to present the game and how it was going to be different. And he kept referring to, his experience in Australia and then Europe, and how much further ahead of the game those countries, those sports were in terms of really beginning to tap into gaming and what it could be. And so my career is basically for 25 years, I've been, fantasizing about getting involved in the sports betting and gaming industry. And little did I know that, we were going to partner with, Neil and Richard, who frankly are, two of the pioneers, right? And their teams are really two of the pioneers of the whole gaming industry. So things come full circle, and, Richard's going to take you through Super Group, but it's a phenomenal company. We're really excited about it.
It certainly sounds like it. And I got to tell you, living in New Jersey, I am constantly bombarded with information on sports betting and gaming companies. And I got to tell you, one of the most impressive companies I've learned about is yours, Super Group. For people out there who may not be familiar with Super Group, Richard, could you tell us something about Super Group?
Sure, Dave. Absolutely. So Super Group, we're a global online sports betting and gaming business. Our vision is to provide first-class entertainment to the worldwide betting and gaming community. And we do that with two offerings. We have Betway, our single-brand global sports betting brand, and Spin, which is a multi-brand online casino offering. The business today, we are truly global. We have a really global footprint. We hold licenses in 25 different jurisdictions, and that's outside the U.S., which I'm sure we'll touch on a bit later. Our teams, as John pointed out, incredible teams, just shy of 4,000 people spread across the world. Today, offering product in 26 different languages around the world. And as you would imagine, operating 24/7, 365 in all these languages, in all these countries, and really providing our customers across the world with leading entertainment in both betting and gaming.
John, for me, reading the business model for Super Group, it is so unique because of the combination of businesses that fall under the umbrella of Super Group. In your opinion, how are you different from the other companies out there in the market?
Yeah, that's really a great question, Dave. I mean, because that is the thing. I mean, when we came back, when we had first met, Neil and Richard through a mutual acquaintance of Eric's, frankly, a banker in London, Daniel Burns, who's very active in this space. No one could quite believe that there was a company that, was this big and this profitable. That was kind of in the sector. Nobody had really heard of them. And Rich will give you kind of the backstory on that. But I totally agree. We think that they are very uniquely positioned in the gaming universe. I think there's a couple of points. One, I think, is this worldwide reach and scale, which Richard had talked about. It's not easily replicable, and it's really hard to do. So, incredible respect for Neil and Richard in terms of being operators and really, building, businesses in 25 different jurisdictions, 26 languages. It's incredible. They have the dual offering, as Richard said, of both the high growth single sports brand, Betway, with the really cash generative Spin Casino group. They're online only. They got no bricks and mortar. They really, I know everybody in the space, has a data and a technology story, but I think when you really dig in a little bit with Richard and the team on Super Group, you see that, they've been in the business for 20 plus years, and they really do care about the customer journey. And it's reflected in the way they build their programs and the way that they lean on sort of the data science and the technology. And then I think a big differentiating factor is, the high growth and highly profitable. I mean, when we started this journey, it was kind of early in the year. We're now towards the end of the year. And, they're going to do $350 million of EBITDA this year. So it's a great story. It's the rare mix of growth and a value stock. And we're just excited to, through the process, and get these guys a public listing on the New York Stock Exchange. Because I think that they're very, very uniquely positioned there. There's really no other publicly listed stock in this sector that looks, like Super Group.
Mm-hmm. Richard, John just mentioned Betway, and I want to ask about that. I mean, over the last year, I've been hearing more and more about it. I think the first time I saw the word Betway was I was watching a hockey game, and I saw it on I think it was the boards or something, and I was wondering, what the heck is Betway? And I haven't stopped hearing about it since. Richard, can you tell us something about the origins of Betway?
Sure. So actually, Betway is a business that we acquired back in 2011, and they were using the same PAM, the same player account management system that we were, and that was our first introduction into sports betting. The business, actually, the Super Group has its origins on the online gaming side for more than 2 decades. In sports, we've been involved now for around 1 decade, around 10 years. The Betway brand today, as John and I mentioned earlier, it's a truly global brand. And you're right, you did see it in an NHL game. We have a partnership for the Stanley Cup. We also have partnerships with Betway today with the New York Islanders, the LA Kings, the Philadelphia Flyers, and of course, many other sports. Today, Betway has brand partnerships with over 65 teams and leagues around the world. And that's going back to what we spoke about earlier, being the global nature of the brand. And when you look at the brand, one additional thing to add to what John said earlier about how unique we are. We're operating one single brand across all these markets, across all these countries. Mm-hmm. So, for example, in the NBA, we have Betway branding 7 teams in their home games. And that's not just for one specific market, but that's a focus on the global audience. It's where the NBA is being viewed across the world. You'll see the Betway branding. In the UK, as an example, we're on the front of the shirts of West Ham United, the English Premier League soccer team. And also we have Betway partnerships on the brand in 5 other European countries. So the brand really has these partnerships across numerous different teams and leagues, across numerous different sports and countries, really coming back to the fact that it's a single brand across the whole world. Of course, within Betway, like I said earlier, we're operating in numerous different markets, while it's a sports bet offering, within the Betway offering, we have both sports betting and gaming.
Richard, I want to stick with you. I mean, you mentioned the European soccer partnerships, and I read about them, and they just seemed incredible. Can you talk about that deal with European soccer? Because it is very impressive what Betway has done with regard with European soccer.
Sure, absolutely. So I think I'll start with the English Premier League. I think that's the league with the highest global viewing figures, where Betway is a very, very visible brand. Just to give you a statistic there, Betway branding is visible in over 250 of the 380 matches that are played in the English Premier League. So it's around north of 65% of games in the Premier League have got Betway branding. And then in addition to that, on the European front, we have Betway presence in 5 other European countries. So, including England, 5. So it's England, Spain, Italy, Germany, and Portugal, with more to come. And I think this is going back to the point where it's not just doing sponsorship or having these brand partnerships for one country, but it's how we appeal to the global audience. Our customers are watching different sports in different countries, and it's taking this global brand and then localizing it within each of the markets that we're operating in. Also, of course, I'm not sure if you watched Ted Lasso, but that was where you may have seen some very strong brand partnerships.
Yes.
Some very strong branding. Actually, John, I'm not sure if you want to continue from there.
Yeah, no, I just think, the Ted Lasso was kind of like a fun bonus to the idea that, these guys have built a really authentic, global sports brand. So, Apple's #1 streaming TV, series of the year prominently features Betway, not because some marketing guy, figured out a way to do a sponsorship, but because, it kind of centers around this English Premier League team that Betway happens to sponsor in West Ham. So, I think the U.S., Dave, you mentioned you're seeing it everywhere now on, in the NHL and the NBA and obviously, tennis events and horse racing and all over the place. But a lot of the benefit of some of their global sponsorships is the fact that they do, the Premier League is probably, I've heard Richard quote this a couple of times, is in many respects is #1 followed sport in many of the African countries. And so the Betway brand, without a whole lot of marketing spend, is at the very top of the list in terms of, sports betting brands there, just by nature of their Premier League sponsorship. Similarly, Betway does, Richard has led kind of their, the penetration into the U.S. market.
Yep.
Including with a bunch of NBA teams, but he also goes on to say, look, even if Betway wasn't coming to the U.S., they would probably be doing these team sponsorships because, the NBA is in their top 3 global sports betting categories throughout Europe. So it's a very unique position that they've been able to put themselves in. It clearly builds, this authentic global brand, but it also is a, big competitive advantage because, as they get into these markets and as they compete for, some of the sponsorships that they really value, they're able to amortize it around the world. Whereas if you're say, for example, only a U.S. operator, you're limited in terms of, how much you can load up your marketing costs.
John, you brought up a really great point. I mean, I was thinking about that how much different is marketing to the European market than it is to the U.S. customer? I mean, like I said, I'm a guy sitting in New Jersey looking at a hockey game and say, hey, what's Betway? And it really stuck with me. I mean, is the reaction the same way for the European markets as it is in the U.S. markets?
Yeah, Richard, since I've spent my life marketing to predominantly U.S. and North American sports fans. Maybe you're a better expert on that one.
Yeah, sure. I think, Dave, when you look at the Betway brand, like I said earlier, we look at it as a global audience. We're not tied to any one specific market or one specific region. And I think when you look at how the types of leagues and teams that the brand has partnered with across all these markets, it's building this global brand, but then ensuring that we have these local partnerships and appealing to our customers in all countries and in any countries that we're operating in. One, I guess, recent anecdote which might put a bit of color to this is we were awarded a license about 2 months back in an Eastern European country, and the most watched sport in that country is German football, where we already have a number of Betway brand partnerships. And that's going back to the point that John was mentioning earlier, where, when we go live with the Betway brand in a certain market, potential customers and future customers are already aware of the Betway brand because of these partnerships. And I guess that's something similar to when you saw Bet on the Ice. So, provided we have this large portfolio, which we do, I mentioned it's north of 65 different partnerships around the world for the brand. Mm-hmm. We're appealing to our customers across the world.
Another global sport that Betway made a lot of deals with is the sport of tennis, which is a very popular sport for people to bet on. People love to bet on tennis. In the world of tennis, what deals have you made in the past, and what deals in the tennis world can we expect from Betway in the future, Richard?
Sure. So today we have 11 tennis partnerships across 8 different countries. I won't go through the full list, but just to name a few, you've got the Miami Open, the Madrid Open, the Stockholm Open, and those across, like I said, those 11 partnerships across these 8 different countries. And it's going back to the previous point. It's not just one sport that Betway has its partnerships with. It's a range of sports, of which tennis is, say, 11 of these 65 plus different partnerships. And as we continue to explore more sports, perhaps we'll have more tennis, and perhaps we'll have additional other sports.
I brought it up a couple of times, and I first noticed Betway watching a hockey game. And you recently made news in my home state of New Jersey when you made a deal with the New Jersey Devils, and you also made a deal with the Philadelphia Flyers. Can you tell us something about those deals, and what are your plans for the future deals in hockey?
So, I think it's sticking to a similar theme. What John mentioned earlier, a lot of the type of brand partnerships that we may do in the US, even if the brand wasn't live in the US, we would still go ahead with these partnerships. And again, that's going back to the global audience. If you take the Philadelphia Flyers as an example, the Betway brand via Digital Gaming Corporation is live there today in Pennsylvania with the sports betting and gaming offering. So there, it's a combination of appealing to the global audience, but then also having some local resonance for customers that are in state and that see the brand within the state.
Now, John, you mentioned recently Super Group filed paperwork to become a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. Why do you think it was an important step to take at this time? And do you think that more and more gaming companies and organizations will try to go public in the future?
I think, I'll just kind of parrot some of the look from Eric and my standpoint. We think they're going to be a great public company. As I said, they're in a real high growth area, gaming as well as online sports betting. They're digital only. They have no brick and mortar. They have no debt on the balance sheet. So they're very uniquely positioned, and they're also incredible operators. They're very disciplined, but highly aggressive in terms of how they roll out. And I do think that they have a real differentiated model, particularly in the sports betting area with with the single brand Betway. But, what I've heard, Neil and Richard talk about, from their perspective was just, people getting to know who they are. And when they're opening up so many markets around the world, it's nice to be able to point to, a public listing on the New York Stock Exchange and all the diligence and accounting that has to go into something like that. You don't have to spend a whole lot of time convincing people that your business is real. It's all publicly, the information is really publicly available. Mm-hmm. And I think in terms of the benefit of the SPAC partnership, back in April, I can tell you when we announced the deal and we first started to meet with potential investors, who were maybe less interested in a SPAC investment as a sector and more interested in the gaming sector. There was some doubt that, the company really could be as big and as profitable as they were because, frankly, they hadn't seen them or hadn't run into them before, which, Richard can talk about. But I think as we've gone through the process of getting, through the SEC and getting through, full year audits and ultimately now, hopefully, very close to becoming a public company, we've seen people's attitudes about, what they think is going to work long term in this sector. And, they've seen the real value in somebody like Super Group that has built out this incredible operating scale on a global basis that, as I said before, is really hard to replicate. Mm-hmm. So really uniquely positions them in the marketplace.
Since we met Eric and John way back, it really has felt like a genuine partnership. We've been working as one team, and obviously as we move towards the next phase of becoming a listed business from the Super Group side, we're really excited. Both John and Eric are sticking around. Eric's going to be the chairman of the listed business, John as a non-exec director. And if the last many months of working together is anything to go by, then we think there's a great future ahead.
Now, being a gaming attorney and doing the show, I get to talk to a lot of sportsbook operators, and it's very interesting to hear their plans on how they want to expand their business. I mean, some say they want to go to a jurisdiction that doesn't have a lot of books so they can make their name. Other operators say they want to go to a market that has a lot of books because they think they can find their place in a busy market. My feeling is, hey, why can't you do both? But in terms of expansion into different jurisdictions, both in this country and worldwide, what is Super Group and Betway's plan on moving forward? Richard, why don't you take that one?
Sure, Dave. So as you mentioned earlier, today we have a truly global footprint. Mm-hmm. We have these 25 licenses outside the U.S. And today, via Digital Gaming Corporation, the brand is live in 5 states in the U.S. When we look at new markets, for us, we're looking at many markets at any point in time, at any one point in time. And as you point out, those markets could be in the US, they could be in any other parts of the world. And because of the scale that we're operating at, when we look at a new market, we're looking effectively for incremental revenue from these markets. We're not the first, second, third biggest in any one market around the world, and we don't need to be in those positions in order for a specific market to make sense for us. Within the business, like I said, we've got close on 4,000 people. We have been replicating the success for many years of entering markets and scaling in those markets. And as we look at new markets, we're effectively finding ways to add on this incremental revenue on top of our existing base. This year going to be north of $1.5 billion of net gaming revenue. So when we look at a market, provided it makes commercial sense and is commercially viable from a tax rate perspective and from a regulatory perspective, we don't have to go into a market and spend hundreds of millions of dollars on marketing, as an example, or end up with 25 or 35% market share in order for that market to make sense. We also don't have to go out and hire hundreds of additional people to operate that market. We have teams. We will go and hire in-state or in-country teams that will localize the product, they'll localize the marketing, they'll understand the local customers. And for us, this is all incremental revenue that we're adding on top of our existing base coming from this global footprint. Where when we look at a market, we'll look at, how do we get to the first $500,000 of net gaming revenue? How do we get to $1 million, $2 million, $5 million? It's not a matter of we must get to hundreds of millions of revenue in order for the market to make sense. So that's how we leverage our global footprint, and that's how we'll continue to look to expand that global footprint even more.
John, I've been amazed at how quickly sports betting has expanded in the United States. I mean, it's grown at an incredible rate. Do you think that the expansion of sports betting in the United States will continue to grow at this rate, or at some point something has to slow down?
No, I think it's still really early days, Dave. I mean, maybe it's the first inning or the top of the second inning. It's really early days. I mean, and that's one of the things I love about the way Richard has approached, just say, for example, the U.S. I mean, you're talking about not even half the country is legally able to vote online. So I think that it's early days. I think as the market in the West becomes even more penetrated, you'll see much more integration into the games and the live game coverage. That's something else that Neil and Richard have a lot of experience with because they've been doing this for 20 years all around the globe, and so they've seen this movie before a couple of times. But very bullish and optimistic both for iGaming as well as online sports betting.
Richard, whenever I ask about the growth in sports betting and the industry as a whole, a lot of people reply with one word, and that is eSports. What are Super Group's and Betway's plans with regard to eSports, and do you see that as a growing market in the sports betting industry?
Absolutely, Dave. We've been focused on the eSports within Betway for the last few years, and are very proud of the product that we have today across numerous different markets. Is it a growth area? Absolutely. And I guess going back to your earlier question around the brand partnerships, part of that portfolio of brand partnerships includes teams and tournaments within the world of esports.
Richard, John, where do you see Super Group and Betway in the coming year? What can consumers expect from Super Group in the near future? Richard, we'll start with you.
Sure, Dave. Look, I think as a business, we have this global footprint. We will continue to expand organically. We will look at other potential growth opportunities around the world. To your point on the U.S., as the U.S. More states regulate, I think you'll see the brand active in more states there, plus, of course, in other countries around the world. So a lot more growth still to come. John's point earlier, it's still early days for the business. We're very excited about becoming a listed business and then continuing our story from there.
John, what's your opinion? Where do you see Super Group and Betway in the coming year?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting future. I mean, obviously, we're hopeful that we'll get through this transaction and Super Group will be publicly listed, perhaps by the end of this calendar year, if not certainly beginning of January. I think once that happens, they have a new tool in their toolkit, right? They've got the public market currency. And this is an industry that there's going to be a lot of activity, right? There's going to be a lot of growth and a lot of changes. Certainly probably a lot of consolidation in the marketplace. So Super Group will be, with their global operating scale, with the level of profitability, with their proprietary data and technology, they're going to be in a really, really powerful seat to kind of help determine what this sector looks like in the next, 10 to 20 years. So very exciting times.
Richard, we're running out of time, but for people who are interested in Super Group, what is the website people can go and check out and get more information on Super Group?
Thanks, Dave. That's www.sghc.com. sghc.com.
Richard Hasson and John Collins from Super Group, thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about Betway, Spin, and the incredible things Super Group is doing in the sports betting industry. Certainly people are going to hear more and more about this incredible organization in the future, so please come back on and keep us updated on what's going on with Super Group. Thank you so much for taking the time with us.
Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
Stick around. More Turnpike Sports right after this.
Is your bathroom looking old and worn out? Want to update it, but you don't know where to start? Then let BCI Bath & Shower show you how to turn that old bath into an aisle of beauty and functionality. Our residential bathroom solutions provide the best value on the market, and our customer service is second to none. Our cost-effective BCI Bath & Shower family of products has what you need.
Remodeling our bathroom was a big decision for us.
They didn't make a mess out of our house at all. And at the end of the day, we had a beautiful new bathroom. And it was a great experience the whole way through.
We have the best monthly payment programs in the industry, with payments as low as $68 per month or no interest, no payments for 18 months. That's right. Get the bathroom of your dreams now and pay for it in 2021. Call 1-800-308-8291 for a free no-obligation price quote. That's 1-800-308-8291. When you want quality bathroom products at a great price, it's got to be BCI Bath & Shower. That's 1-800-308-8291.
Attention. Here is something big banks don't want you to know about your IRA or 401k. You can store your retirement savings where you can actually see, touch, and hold it in your hands. With a Paradigm Gold or Silver IRA, you can transfer a portion of your savings to physical gold and silver coin and store them where you can see them. The stock market is close to its all-time high, and your retirement might be at risk again. But you can trust Paradigm Gold Group to help.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
Paradigm Gold Group is a gold IRA leader, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, where gold and silver has been in the family business for over 40 years. Call for your free guide to Paradigm's Gold IRA. Protect your retirement savings today with Paradigm.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
Casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beatin The House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's Beatin The House segment, where we're going to be talking about the slot machines, the casino wins, the bingo. We've even got a sportsbook win to talk about.
We're going to talk about a bingo win?
We've got a couple bad beat jackpots to talk about this time, too. So we're going to start right off in New Jersey with Caesars Sportsbook.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. This was all over the news.
I actually am amazed at this one. Every so often I do throw in a sports bet in because it's such a unique parlay, and this is a very unique parlay.
It's an incredible parlay.
In terms of not just the different sports, but also the number of legs.
Well, let me tell you something. Did Caesars post all the games involved in this parlay? Did they post all the legs in there?
I have it right here.
Oh, okay. Did they they
I
tweeted
cannot go
it?
through all of that because it's a 25-leg parlay, $25 bet, 25-leg parlay.
Unbelievable.
It's a combination of NCAA and pro sports.
And it looks like it's a combination of money line and spreads.
It's 10 spread bets,
Unbelievable.
14 money line bets.
Usually when you get like that kind of a big parlay, it's all like money line or something like that. But no, this is a combination.
No, this was and there's no teasers involved. A lot of people were asking, how did this guy structure it differently or whatever. And again, 25 leg is kind of unusual because a lot of sports books do not allow 25 legs.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely amazing.
Some of them cap them at 20.
Yeah, and it was a $25 bet too.
Yeah. I wonder if he had actually bet more.
So how much did he actually win?
The 25 leg. 25,
we're saying he. Is it a he?
It's a he.
It's a he. Okay.
The 25 leg, $25 bet parlay won $237,553.11.
Wow.
That is a big old congratulations to the player at Caesar Sportsbook in New Jersey.
I like they topped it off with 11 cents.
Well, the 11 cents makes a difference.
The 11 cents.
That's the key, the 11 cents there. Going over from the sports books to the poker rooms.
All right.
We have a bad beat jackpot at the MGM Grand Detroit. Now, do I have to tell you where the MGM Grand Detroit is located?
It's Detroit.
Exactly.
I would guess.
I don't have to say Detroit, Michigan after that
No.
one. A record bad beat jackpot was hit at the MGM Grand Detroit.
Wow.
Man from Clinton Township dealt quad eights only to lose to quad queens.
Wow. Oh, wow.
And according to the press release, the extremely rare no-limit Hold'em hand triggered a progressive jackpot, which over the last 2 years, no one's won this for 2 years now, the jackpot was $800,954.
Wow.
40% went to the losing player, $320,000.
That's the guy with the quad eights, right?
He was the loser. Such a loser.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, $320,000. 20% went to the winning player, $160,000. And the remaining 40%, the whatever was left over there, $80,000 each to the other four players at the table.
$80,000 each,
yeah.
Huh? Oh, wow, okay.
I have to admit, if you're going to be part of a bad beat jackpot...
Yeah, boy, you're just sitting there, huh?
You got to hope for the least number of players at your table.
Yeah, boy.
Because that increases your share. But according to MGM Grand Detroit officials, this was the biggest bad beat jackpot in the casino's history. Casino's been around since 1999.
Wow.
It's also one of the largest in the United States history for bad beat jackpots. In 2018, Motor City Casino Hotel set the U.S. record, paying out a $1.068 million bad beat jackpot.
Wow, something about Michigan with the bad beat jackpots, huh?
Well, it's kind of interesting that the two highest happened in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah, right.
So, this
the bad beat city.
This is the first time the bad beat jackpot's been hit at the MGM Grand Detroit since June 19th, 2019. Okay, staying with the bad beat theme of this Beatin the House segment. I normally don't do online sites here, but got to do it here. GG Poker. The bad beat jackpot was not hit once, not hit twice, but 5 times over a weekend.
How the hell does that happen?
Well, I have the entire list here, and suffice it to say it's an amazing list. And the biggest one happened the 5th time.
Okay.
It was like almost growing and growing and growing. It was like 2 bad beat jackpots happened in the space of 12 hours, too.
You would think the last one would be the least, you know? It's bizarre.
Well, the first one was a winner of $35,000.
All right.
For winning the bad beat but losing the hand.
Okay.
The 4 other players also won $2,800 at that table. 12 hours later, the same guy was involved in another bad beat jackpot. This time he won. He won $35,000.
Wow. Okay.
Then another one happened. A straight flush versus a king high straight flush won $89,000 off a total jackpot of $144,000 jackpot. Then we had another one where the winner of the hand saw their bankroll boosted by $27,000, while the players dealt into the hand walked away with $7,000 each. Then the last one. The winner received a $352,000 payout on the Bad Beat jackpot, all one weekend long. This is an incredible amount of money.
Wow. Okay.
First of all, it's kind of interesting that the Bad Beat jackpot kept growing.
It's interesting.
I don't normally see
different games and things like that. I'm not too familiar with GG Poker.
I'm not either, but it's kind of interesting that the amount of money kept going up and up and up. I mean, I guess maybe as the weekend progressed, more people signed on and were playing.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I'm dealing with GG Poker. I mean, I know they did some stuff with. I think they had some tournaments online, for some of the other major things out there, some partnerships. But
sure.
I'm not too familiar with GG. But anyway, it was just such a unique occurrence. 5 times over the weekend. Play Sugar House is next up. In Pennsylvania. Play Sugar House made Christmas a whole lot merrier for a Reading area grandma who hit the mega jackpot on Divine Fortune.
Oh, I love Divine Fortune.
40-cent bet.
Okay.
Won $182,391.
Wow. Okay.
According to the release, the grandmother to 7 and mom to 4 says she'll use the money to pay off her house and buy presents for her family.
Oh, that's great.
Rush Street Interactive has paid out the Divine Fortune mega jackpot to 98 winners in Pennsylvania on both platforms, Play Sugar House and Bet Rivers. Total progressive jackpot payout so far, $13,615,000.
I like Divine Fortune. It's a good machine.
It's fun to play.
It's absolutely great to play. That's one of my favorite ones, especially when you're playing online slots in New Jersey. I guess they had it in Pennsylvania, too.
I think it'd be more fun if I won the $182,000 on a 40-cent bet, but it's still a fun game to play.
Wow, 40-cent bet.
Going out to Vegas with the El Cortez now. A visitor from Minnesota hit the jackpot at El Cortez, turning a $5 bet into a $77,000 jackpot on a Dollar Storm machine. And the reason this is big news is in the month of November, the El Cortez awarded 8 big jackpots. This is December. I'm sorry. This is for the month of December.
Wow, we're not even done with December yet.
No, we're halfway through December. They have 8 big jackpots.
Oh, wow.
December 1st, player won $14,000 playing Keno.
Okay.
You won Keno. It's a machine game. In December 2nd, $13,000 was won on Dragon Link. On December 3rd, a player won $18,000 on Wolf Run Keno.
That's a Keno.
On December 6th, a player won $18,000 on U1 Keno. And another player won $10,000 on U1 Keno. So 2 jackpots in one day.
I have to hit the El Cortez just for the Keno, huh?
And not to be finished with December 6th. It must have been a very lucky day. A player also won $13,000 on video poker.
Wow, big day at El Cortez.
So congratulations to all the winners in December for the El Cortez Casino. And our last one of the week, we're going over to Michigan again.
All right.
We started in Michigan. We're going to end in Michigan. The Michigan Lottery. We seem to get a lot of Michigan Lottery stories. Jeffrey Phillips, age 62 of Washtenaw. I'm totally mispronouncing that. I can't speak. Washtenaw County.
Yeah.
Told Michigan Lottery officials the numbers on the winning Mega Millions ticket he bought from Polly's Country Market in Chelsea were the same numbers he has been playing every week for 2 years. He won a $2 million jackpot playing the same numbers for 2 years.
I know people who do the lottery, they just keep their ticket. They run it through the machine and the guy gives them back their ticket. And
I think
they're where they choose their numbers.
Well, I think in some states they have the cards where you can actually, the gift cards where it has one set of numbers.
Yeah.
And you give them to people, or you can get them yourself, and you just keep playing the same numbers every day. It's already taken care of for you.
Yeah, well, you can. I know, like I said, I know people who fill out their sheet with their numbers and keep using that same sheet. Just the guy behind the counter just keeps giving it back to him.
I still haven't seen this anywhere, but I wonder if there's been a study done to see whether or not the hand-picked numbers versus the machine-picked numbers, which one wins more?
Yeah, no, I don't have numbers. I mean, anytime I buy the lottery, I just, give me a quick pick.
I just know there are some people who are dead set against doing quick picks. They love doing filling out the little sheet before they hand it in and all that stuff. But if anyone's done a study like that, I'd like to see the results. Whether or not the quick picks are better in terms of winning percentage than the hand-filled sheet picks. Anyway, that's it for this week's Beatin the House segment. We are always happy to see the press releases coming in to info@turnpikesportsradio.com, giving us the rundowns of the different jackpots around the country, internationally as well. So please keep them coming in.
NFL picks are coming up next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
During these difficult times, we understand how important it is to stay healthy and safe. With so many of us confined to our homes and not being able to work, we feel the financial burden more than ever. Many folks lost their jobs and businesses. Others were furloughed, and some are working from home at reduced pay. Keeping up with your bills is not easy under these circumstances. If you have credit card debt and cannot keep up with your monthly payments, we at Debt Fix Pros are here to help. Give us a call to see how we can reduce your interest rates and lower your monthly payments. Protect your credit and let us help you find a solution that fits your needs. We, your friends at Debt Fix Pros, are here to help. Let us take care of your credit card debt so you can focus on what is really important. Call for a free phone consultation at 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. That's 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. United we stand.
Tax Solutions Now is a complimentary referral service that connects callers to companies that provide tax services.
Money matters. If you owe thousands in back taxes to the IRS, how much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I paid less than I owe.
That's right, money matters. So call Tax Solutions Now and get the IRS off your back. Since 2014, Tax Solutions Now has been a leader in the tax resolution industry. Remove wage garnishments, property liens, fines, and penalties. Qualify for the Fresh Start program or even uncollectible status. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I owed the IRS over $10,000. I paid a fraction of what I owed.
Call now to reduce or even eliminate your back taxes.
I called Tax Solutions Now and got the IRS off my back. Thanks. You saved us a ton of money.
Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you? Call now and find out.
Call 800-683-7377. 800-683-7377. 800-683-7377.
This week's Turnpike Sports Pro Pick segment is brought to you by Fubo Sportsbook. Get in the game with Fubo Sportsbook. Integrated with Fubo TV, Fubo Sportsbook is designed to meet the U.S. sports fans' growing demand for interactivity. You can use their Watching Now feature to view wagering content based upon what you're streaming on Fubo TV, even as you change the channel. And now new customers get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 plus a free month of Fubo TV when you sign up at FuboSportsbook.com with promo code WATCH. WATCH. That's promo code WATCH when you sign up to get your first risk-free bet up to $1,000 at Fubo Sportsbook, plus a free month of Fubo TV. Sign up, then sync up to enjoy one of the most unique and personalized sports experiences in the market today. Watch, wager, and win with Fubo Sportsbook. Iowa only. Must be at least 21 years or old to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. New customers only. Problem gambler? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to Week 16 of the National COVID League, which seems to be moving games all around now. I think we're going to have that for the rest of the season. As we're taping this, there are still 2 more games to be played. We're on a Tuesday morning here using the Tuesday lines over at Fubo Sportsbook for the second week. Iowa only. You sign up with the promo code WATCH. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 plus 1 month of Fubo TV free, which, by the way, I am loving Fubo TV.
Fubo TV is awesome. I love it. We were in New England for a couple weeks, and we actually saw the Jets game both weeks.
Twice. And
I mean, that wasn't a great thing.
It wasn't a pleasant experience in terms of the game.
Actually watching the game was awesome, but seeing how the Jets played was just horrendous. But point is, we watched the Jets game in New England.
The quality of play by the Jets did not detract from the quality of Fubo TV
I
as
love
a whole.
Fubo TV.
No, it was great. And I have been
TV
really enjoying
shows,
it.
movies, live sports, love it.
And also, when we're up there, New York news.
Yeah.
Which was actually pretty cool.
It was great.
So
a little bit of home.
Exactly. Again, we're here in Week 16 for the NFL. Games have been impacted by COVID a lot. They're going to continue to be impacted by COVID, I think, for the rest of the season.
This
we
is
just got to
tough.
be.
Yeah.
You just got to roll with your picks, people. And
just
one of
keep
those
checking
things.
right before game time, and because everything's changing. VSiN, which I listen to all the time, they now have a COVID tracker, so which is important now for bettors.
I think everyone's going to have one of those at some point.
This is tough.
But again, we're here in the pick segment.
So our picks are, take it what you will. This is our thought at the moment. Please check who has COVID. Please check the lines as the week goes on. Check the lines right before game time and see who's playing. We're flying blind almost.
These are early week picks.
Yep.
And
look-aheads. They call them look-aheads.
They're look-aheads. And you know what? These lines will definitely change by the time these games roll around. So
I don't know.
I do like the fact we had, 5 out of 7 days of football? Because of COVID?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bright side looking at it right there. But well, here in the pick segment here, we do 3 games each, as we've been doing all season long.
We had a pretty good week last week.
Both of us did,
yeah.
Spreads and totals only, no money lines. Let's recap what happened last week. Last week I went 3-0.
Wow, congratulations. I went 2-1.
I have to admit, I got a better line than probably everybody else did with that Raiders game. I had Raiders +6.
Wow, that was great.
And they won by 3, I think. 2.
1, isn't it? Or 2? Wait, what was
2.
it?
It was 2. It was 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 16-14. But yeah, that was just a lucky pick on my part because that spread went to the Browns.
That was up and down.
Yeah.
That was absolutely up and down. People were waiting to see who was going to play and who wasn't going to play.
And
it was just a mess.
And I know some books canceled some bets because of what was going on.
Yeah.
And that, you know what, that's a smart thing to do.
That's another thing. Check the rules of the house. Check to see what the policy is for the sports book you're placing bets in. So
especially
everything's different
going on. So again, 3-0, 2-1. Season to date, I'm still in the lead, 24-20-1. You are 22-20-3.
Oh, okay.
So we're close.
Yeah.
Your two extra pushes are separating us.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about this week's games, and this is probably where I'm going to go 0-3. I'll do a mirror image probably.
We'll see. Going against the kind of what the rule of thumb regarding picking totals in the COVID era, so we'll see how I do in this one.
Well, you went first last week. I probably should let you go first this week because I had a great week, but no, I'll go first this week.
Okay.
First game, Indianapolis Colts at the Arizona Cardinals.
By the way, I took this one too.
The Cardinals are -2 are 2-point favorites, over under a 49.5. Colts are coming into this Saturday night game. They're almost like on a mini bye here. They played on Thursday night, beat the Patriots. They're coming into Arizona, and they're facing an Arizona Cardinal team that is not playing well.
No.
And after a really good start to the year, I'm really surprised at how badly they're playing. Colts have won 3 of their last 4 games overall. They're 4-0 against the spread as a road team in their last 4 road games. Cardinals, conversely, are 1-3 against the spread in their last 4 home games. One of those losses was to Carolina, which is a really bad team right now. The Colts are 2-1 against the spread in their last 3 meetings, and they've always played the Cardinals tough. That's why I'm going with the underdog Colts +2.
I'm taking this game too. I mean, like you said, Colts are been playing very, very well. I mean, you did what did you do? 3 of the last 4. I did 5 of their last 6. I guess it's just a matter of
how far back you want to go.
How far back you're going. I think this is one of those games that both teams are going to push themselves because it's important for both teams, and I'm thinking this one's going to be decided in the fourth quarter. Hey, let me tell you something.
I'm thinking this one might even go to overtime because I think both teams are kind of evenly matched, regardless of how Arizona has been playing these last couple of weeks. They're still a very, very good team. 49.5. I'm taking the over, which is a lot of people are saying, you know what, in this COVID era of football, you might not want to take the over. You want to take the under because teams might not be playing their best football. But, I think these teams are going to push each other. I'm taking the over 49.5.
I looked at that, too.
Yeah, I'm taking,
Both these teams score.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That's not a crazy thing to say.
Yeah.
My next game, Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh, we're having one of those weeks now.
Bengals are favored by 2.5. The over-under is 44.5. The Bengals are 1-3 against the spread in their last four games and didn't play well against the Broncos. As a matter of fact, I think Baltimore played much better in their loss to Green Bay than the Bengals looked in their win against Denver. Bengals looked horrible against Denver. They actually probably shouldn't have even won that game, to be honest with you. First time in a couple of years that the Ravens are an underdog in this matchup. And they are 3-1. The Ravens are 3-1 against the spread in their last four meetings with the Bengals, 2-0 against the spread in their last two in Cincinnati. I'm doing the Ravens plus 2.5.
I took this game too, but I took the total again. Believe it or not, I took two overs this week. I rarely do that, but here's my reasoning. Huge game for the Ravens. It's even possible that Lamar Jackson will be able to play this week, even though Tyler Huntley played great against the Green Bay Packers in their loss. This is what pushed me to the over. Last time these two teams played on October 24th, the Bengals won 41-17 with Burrow throwing 3 touchdown passes. I mean, with the playoff implications of this game, it's huge, and with the total only being 44.5, I mean, it's kind of low to me. I'd be very curious to see how this line moves during the week, but right now it's low, so right now I'm taking it. I'm taking the over 44.5.
You also don't even know if Lamar Jackson is going to be playing.
Well, that's why I said it's quite possible he could play, but Tyler Huntley played great, so we don't know. But either way, I think Baltimore Ravens can put some points on the board, as well as the Cincinnati Bengals. And like I said, last time they played on October 24th, it was 41-17, and with the Bengals winning. So
and also,
a lot of points scored.
December's the time of year Baltimore seems to put it all together anyway.
Sure.
My last game of the week. The Detroit Lions going to visit the Atlanta Falcons. Ooh. The Falcons are a 6-point favorite. Actually, I looked at this game on Monday. The Falcons opened up at a 4-point favorite. They are now a 6-point favorite. The over-under, which is also very, very low here.
It's very low.
43.5. What I find really surprising looking at Detroit's record over the last couple of weeks, Detroit is 5-1 against the spread over their last 6 games. And the Falcons are 2-4 against the spread.
The total's even worse than you think. It's 41.5.
They dropped it even further?
Well, I don't know.
Because Goff got just put into the
COVID protocol. Which one are you talking about?
Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons.
Okay, let me see. I'm looking at the points now.
Well, let me go along with my analysis here anyway. Falcons are 2-4.
They took it off the board, by the way.
Really? Oh, because of Goff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just got put in there.
Yeah, I don't know what the total is now.
Well, I'm going to keep with my pick here.
Okay.
If it changes something down the road, this is a COVID pick. I'll call it.
It's a COVID pick. You got an asterisk next to it. Yeah, they have lock signs on the total.
Well, the Falcons are 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 overall. They're 0-3 against the spread in their last 3 home games. The Lions are 3-0 against the spread against their last 3 NFC opponents. And like I said, while that total before they took it off the board was very low, I still am going to go with the trends with Detroit and do the underdog with the 6 points.
My last game, I'm trying to figure if I ever bet on them this year, but I think I might have, but I don't know. My last game is the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New York Jets, who are favored by 2.5 with an over-under of 41.5. I mean, like I said, I don't think the Jets were ever favored this year. So
yes, they were favored in Week 4.
Really, were they? Okay,
and that's when they lost.
But I'm going with them this week. I mean, I won last week betting against the Jaguars when they were blown out by the Houston Texans, and I actually think the Jets are a better team
than the Houston Texans. Plus, you have a very bad Jacksonville Jaguar team playing in the ice-cold Meadowlands, and I think the Jets will pull this one out. And with the spread at 2.5, the Jets can win by a field goal, and they cover. So I'm taking the Jets and laying the points. I never thought I'd say that on this show, but I'm taking the favorite Jets and laying the points.
Well, let's do our COVID recap.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. I am taking the over 49.5 points in the Colts-Cardinals game. I'm taking the over 44.5 points in the Ravens-Bengal game. And I'm taking the favored New York Jets and laying the 2.5 points against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And I'm doing the underdog series of bets here. I'm doing the Colts +2 against the Cardinals, the Ravens +2.5 against the Bengals, and Detroit. They may be the golfless Detroit Lions.
Who knows?
But I'm going Detroit +6, just riding the trends there. Picks will be up on the blogs, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button, and you will find our picks there. Feel free to comment on them. info@turnpikesportsradio.com is our email address. Turnpike Sports and Turnpike Bets are our 2 Twitter handles. Facebook, we're Turnpike Sports, and Instagram is Turnpike Sports Radio for that social media outlet. That's it for our picks.
The book report is next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
During these difficult times, we understand how important it is to stay healthy and safe. With so many of us confined to our homes and not being able to work, we feel the financial burden more than ever. Many folks lost their jobs and businesses. Others were furloughed, and some are working from home at reduced pay. Keeping up with your bills is not easy under these circumstances. If you have credit card debt and cannot keep up with your monthly payments, we at Debt Fix Pros are here to help. Give us a call to see how we can reduce your interest rates and lower your monthly payments. Protect your credit and let us help you find a solution that fits your needs. We, your friends at Debt Fix Pros, are here to help. Let us take care of your credit card debt so you can focus on what is really important. Call for a free phone consultation at 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. That's 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. United we stand.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we're going to be talking about the state and national reports. And boy, do we got a lot of those to talk about. We've got brand new states to talk about. We've got some records to talk about. We're constantly talking about records.
Lots of great numbers.
We've got legislation. We've got deals to talk about. One interesting deal that is first time this sport has been involved in a sports betting deal. I'm just teasing that for a little bit.
I don't want to give too much away, but does it involve Bally's?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
And also, we have a whole bunch of launches. It was a really busy week this past week here. We're taping even this a little earlier than we normally do because there was so much to talk about. But in terms of state and national numbers, we had a whole bunch of records set. Let's start with, as always, New Jersey. New Jersey became the very first state to generate $100 million in sports betting revenue for the month.
Wow, that's great. We're not talking about handle. We're talking about once all
revenue.
The bills are paid and everything, what's left over. It's $100
100 million.
114.788 million to be
Wow.
exact. That's the total revenue. That's online and also retail together. It's just been incredible. Last couple of months for New Jersey, they've had 3 straight months of $1 billion plus in sports betting handle.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how New Jersey does once New York jumps into the mobile sports betting arena. But these numbers are great for Jersey.
Well, again, New York...
Constantly great.
New York may or may not be a threat depending upon that tax rate. A lot of the, there are places out there saying that the operators are going to bring bettors to New Jersey or even direct promos for the New Jersey side.
We're going to have more on that issue soon.
Yes.
We have a great interview coming up with Mark Saxon, who writes for nyonlinegambling.com and Better Collective, and he wrote a great article about it, and we're going to talk to him very, very soon.
That'll air a couple of weeks on Turnpike Sports here.
Yep.
So, but right now, New Jersey, year to date, now I just said New Jersey had 3 straight months of $1 billion plus.
Handle.
Yeah. The year-to-date handle for the state is $9.7 billion.
Jersey's going to hit 10,
That's the 11
right?
months. Yeah.
Jersey's going to hit 10.
Unless
10
something drastic happens in terms of sports betting industry, in terms of New Jersey, $300 million is that's not a lot for them to do. I mean, they've been doing $1 billion plus for the last 3 months, September, October,
in a couple
November.
weeks, that'll be the big story. New Jersey hit $10 billion.
Well, it's already the big story.
It is, but it has to hit officially. You can't really celebrate until it hits officially.
No,
So.
it's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah,
way
yeah.
New Jersey's trending.
Oh, yeah.
If you just follow the trends. And interesting note for the total revenue, the Meadowlands license generated more than half of that state revenue.
Wow.
$64.4 million of the $114 million was generated by the Meadowlands, the retail book there, plus the licenses they have.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of interesting to see which operator is performing extremely well versus some of the other ones. Again, online is king in New Jersey. So
especially in the coming months because it's winter. Who wants to go out,
Well,
on a Tuesday night, you're going to run out to the sports book to place a bet? No, you're going to sit in your couch right in front of your fireplace and place your bet on your phone.
Well, here, a good indication is a brand new state that just came on in Connecticut.
Okay.
Now, Connecticut just had their second full month of sports betting, just as a comparison to New Jersey. They didn't set any records. I mean, everything they do is a state record now.
Yeah.
Everything
is so new. Everything's a record.
They blew by their handle. They had a handle of $131 million in November. That's 140% more than what they had the previous month, which was they only had a half a month there. But in terms of the actual online versus retail, Connecticut was about 97% online.
Sure, absolutely.
And that's kind of where a lot of states are trending. I mean, if it's not an online-only jurisdiction, they're going to have a high online handle. And I think New Jersey, everyone calls it the New Jersey model now. I think that's kind of where everybody wants their state to be heading, except for places like Nevada, Mississippi, which seem to be very slow in getting, some of the online registration setups removed.
I gotta tell you, in terms of Connecticut, they're marketing the hell out of it in New England through billboards. Boy, you drive through Connecticut, you drive through near New York, near the border, even in Massachusetts, there's a lot of billboards talking about sports betting.
I saw one the other day on the expressway in Massachusetts, and I think that was FanDuel.
Yeah, what is that? Is that FanDuel is
Mohegan
Sun and DraftKings is Foxwoods?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But staying with New Jersey, or going back to New Jersey for a little bit, everyone talks about the online casino industry there being the key to the casino industry overall in the state. Sports betting's catching up, and New Jersey's online casinos year to date, $1.2 billion in revenue, compared to now $757 million in revenue from online and retail sports betting. they're starting to even up here.
Sure.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in December if we see another $100 million revenue month for sports betting in December.
Well, that's the one thing that's kind of like the X factor for me when we're talking about New Jersey and how New York is going to affect the sports betting numbers. One thing New Jersey has that New York doesn't, and it doesn't look like they're going to have anytime soon, is online casinos and online poker. You know, if you're in New York City and you want to play online casinos or online poker, you got to come over to New Jersey. And while you're in New Jersey, you might as well place all your sports bets here. So it's one of those things where, you know, that may help. What do they call the George Washington Bridge? The George Washington Bridge Casino?
Yep. Basically, everybody goes onto that bridge. I think even Tappan Zee, or what is it now, the Mario Cuomo Bridge, or whatever you want to call it, the one that, you know, Tappan Zee Bridge. I'm going to call it Tappan Zee. That's also a place where you can actually go and just start looking at getting close to New Jersey, placing bets. I mean, you still got a little ways to go to get into New Jersey.
Yeah.
But that is, you know, that's a gateway to another online betting area because you just go right to the New Jersey line. So we'll see exactly where New Jersey ends up with December. It should do the $10 billion for the year.
Yep.
I wonder if it's going to be another $1 billion month.
We'll see.
For handle, anyway.
We'll see.
But it would be nice to see a $100 million revenue month again.
Sure.
I don't know if they're going to do it, but we'll see. A couple other states set their state records. Indiana and Iowa both set state records. D.C. set a jurisdiction record. I can't call it a state. Michigan online sports betting also set records.
Are these all handles?
These are all variety of things.
Just general records
in terms of
in terms of sports betting.
In terms
of
Indiana and Iowa, they both set total handle records, online handle records, and revenue records for the month of November.
Wow. Okay.
Both states. Let's see. Iowa. I saw an interesting stat, and it was kind of funny to read this. Iowa residents are betting an average of $9.6 million a day in the state.
Woo. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a
I never think of it in terms like that. I wonder how that stacks up to the other states in the union.
Well, I think New Jersey blows by that one. I think Pennsylvania blows by that.
Nevada
one.
and
Nevada, yeah.
Michigan probably.
Michigan set an online handle record.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Let's see, online handle record of $473.8 million, and also an adjusted gross revenue record of $34.5 million.
Boy, lots of records.
Michigan also became the fifth state to pass the $500 million mark in terms of monthly total handle.
Okay.
They joined New Jersey, Nevada, Illinois, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
There are only 5 states that have passed $500 million in monthly total handle for the country here. Iowa is on the verge of going to the $2 billion mark in handle for the year.
Already, huh?
Through its first 11 months.
Yeah, boy.
Through the first 11 months in 2021, Iowa sportsbooks have brought in $1.8 billion in handle.
Oh, jeez.
$778 million over the last 3 months.
Iowa's getting to be a little powerhouse there, huh?
Well, again, I think it's...
Boy, did that sound condescending or what?
Yeah, I know. A little bit, but again, it's a matter of...
No, but good for Iowa.
I think it's a matter of college football and pro football, because I think Iowa's college football market is huge. I mean, that's college football there. That's
I think
more so than a lot of
they're going to do well in March with March Madness, I think,
yeah,
too.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
Think so. Louisiana reported their first numbers for November. I mean, they weren't operating, 100%, but they had
hey, it's their first report, right?
$26.7 million in handle for the month of November. Net revenue of about $5.68 million. Only 2 of their 8 sports books were operating for the entire month.
Well, look, it's the first month. I think they're pretty good numbers for the first month. So
I think so, too.
Congratulations to Louisiana.
And as I mentioned, D.C. set a total gross gaming record revenue of $4.4 million. Again, it was split between I'm really, it's very confusing to me why they do it this way. Everyone reports the numbers as the Gambit numbers and the non-Gambit numbers.
Okay.
I guess it's just a matter of, the way they want to say things or phrase them, but splitting between those two. They always do that. And what they have here is for the month of November, the revenue split was $3.359 million for non-Gambit operators. That's the revenue, compared to Gambit's $1.076 million in revenue. So, again, I think they like pointing out the fact that Gambit's underperforming.
Oh, is that?
I don't know why they. I don't know why they want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's kind of a interesting thing. But we have a whole bunch of new marks being set. Again, looking forward to seeing what December brings. But again, we also got to wait for Nevada, Pennsylvania. There's probably a couple others coming in that Arizona still has yet to report their numbers.
December should be great because Christmas Day, there's so much sports on Christmas Day. First off, the NBA, it's such a great weekend for NBA, and it's going to be a great weekend for NFL football. And everyone is really getting into the playoff picture is getting more into focus, and so it should be an amazing weekend.
Oh, I'm looking forward to Christmas Day. I love NBA betting. I love that more than NFL.
You going to do a Christmas parlay or something?
I always do. The last couple of years I've done a Christmas Day parlay.
It's such a tradition.
Yes. I do all the games. I do a parlay made up of all the games, all money line. I'm not doing the spreads. But a couple of launches to talk about. Another busy week of launches here. I'll go through these really quick here. PointsBet went live in Virginia last week. That is their 8th state. They are now operational in Virginia, New Jersey, Iowa, Indiana, Illinois, Colorado, Michigan, and West Virginia. Ballybet went live in Indiana.
Okay.
That they are now the 13th betting app in the state. Let's see. We also have, I'm going through some of these launches that I have written down here. In Washington State, we had the Snoqualmie tribe in Washington. I'm pronouncing that completely wrong, and
how is it spelled?
Snoqualmie.
It's a difficult word when you have trouble spelling it and you're looking at it.
Yes, and that's also in conjunction with IGT.
Okay.
Maryland, we had a whole slew of them launching. We had Caesars launching at Horseshoe. We had Ocean Downs launching, and also this week, as we're taping this, but this week, Hollywood Perryville, it will be launching, and that is the first Barstool branded sportsbook for the state.
Okay.
Bet365 got approval to operate in Colorado. Yahoo Sportsbook said they're going to be launching soon in Louisiana. That's Yahoo Sportsbook powered by BetMGM.
Okay.
Basically, it's BetMGM. Arizona, Caesar Sportsbook opened at Harrah's Akchin. This is interesting. 888 in New Jersey has ceased operations. 888 Sport.
Yeah, but it also means what are they partnered with?
They're SI Sportsbook. At some point, they're going to
Sports Illustrated Sportsbook. Yeah. So I'm assuming they're just going to open up Sports Illustrated Sportsbook in New Jersey.
Yeah, I think you're going to see them come back in the state as SI Sportsbook.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, one of the conferences we attended, the East Coast Gaming Congress, SI Sportsbook was their sponsor.
Yeah.
So
and that was in New Jersey. That was in Atlantic City. So
that's what I'm saying. At some point, we're going to be seeing them come back into New Jersey.
Not the fact that their physical presence of their people were in Atlantic City. I mean, we're not making that huge leap that they didn't announce anything. They're going to New Jersey, but can't put two and two together.
Yeah, couple of deals to report on, and I teased it at the beginning. We have the very first.
Oh, is this the Bally's one?
Fishing deal.
Fishing. I got to tell you, I saw this, and I have to check the sports books. I don't know if there's usually the online sports books, they have all the sports that you can bet on one of the sides or across the top, and I have to look for fishing.
I have never thought to look for fishing.
No, I haven't seen fishing yet, but I will look for it.
But Bally's announced a deal, and I want to get the league right, with Major League Fishing.
Major League Fishing.
Designating Bally's as Major League Fishing's exclusive sports betting, daily fantasy sports, and free-to-play partner for all their tournaments.
That's got to be a tough sport to bet on. I mean, do you bet on the poundage of if that's even a word, of the fish caught? The quantity of the fish caught? I mean, what are some of the props? that you can go with. And is it a point system like NASCAR? How is fishing work? I got to check that out.
I've actually watched Bassmasters. I don't know if that's part of the Major League Fishing.
I don't know if that's
series,
competition fishing.
But it is competition.
It
fishing.
is? Really? I didn't know.
Bassmasters? It's points.
Oh,
get points
so it is kind of like NASCAR.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
kind of a okay. All
but
right.
you're also getting free-to-play games. You're getting fantasy.
I'm going to do the free-to-play games because I got to learn how to do it. That's the great thing about free-to-play games.
I'm very curious to see how the fantasy works because
fantasy fishing, huh?
Because according to the release, you're going to be able to pick a team of fishermen.
Okay.
And you compete against other teams.
That's what I was questioning. Are there teams of fishermen? I don't want to use fishermen. I mean, is it fisher
persons?
Fisher persons? I don't. Are there teams? Are there individuals doing this? Can you bet on teams and can you bet on individuals? I'm very curious about this.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it, and also they're going to be able to the Bally Sports Networks and also the Bally Bet app. They're going to be streaming stuff.
I'll
take a look at it.
I'll even try it. What the hell?
Bet Rivers announced a deal in Chicago with the daughter of Walter Payton, Brittany Payton.
Great.
She will be the brand ambassador for Illinois and Arizona.
Okay.
Genius Sports. I'm looking forward to this because I've been hearing so much stuff about the Canadian Football League. They just did a data deal with the Canadian Football League.
Yes.
So the CFL has always said they have been very interested in the sports betting area and the markets and all that. So Genius Sports comes in, does a deal for exclusive data rights to CFL games.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I mean, I don't even know when their season starts.
I don't know. Every time I turn on ESPN or one of the other sports channels, there's a Grey Cup being played.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a previous Grey Cup but it's another sport I got to pay more attention to because with this deal, it's all of North American sports betting. We're going to start seeing a lot more Canadian football on the sports books in the United States.
Great. There's going to be a lot of football betting coming up because isn't the USFL starting again and things like that?
USFL is starting again, and if I remember the trademark filings correctly, all the teams have trademarks that include betting.
Okay, there you go.
So keep an eye out for that one. I know Fox owns
spring football.
I know Fox owns USFL. So I'm assuming Fox Bet is automatically going to be included.
Guess it'll be involved in it.
So, there's going to be some deals announced for that. We've got, moving on here, we got BetMGM doing a 3-year extension with the PGA Tour. So congratulations on those parties. They're going to be doing a lot more together in terms of golf betting.
Great.
We just had Betway on. The Richard Hasson and John Collins from Betway on the show on Turnpike Sports. They just did their 4,000th race sponsorship in the UK.
Wow.
In Ireland. 4,000 races they've
They
sponsored.
Are huge in Europe.
Oh, they're getting bigger and bigger.
Oh, and they're getting bigger and bigger.
They also announced their 1,000th sponsored race at Newcastle only. So they've done 1,000 races at Newcastle, 4,000 races in the UK and Ireland. That's a huge benchmark.
I know, absolutely.
I mean, we see all these sponsorship deals. I don't think any sportsbook has gotten close to them yet in terms of that number.
Yeah, like I said, they're huge in Europe. And Europe, I think, is light years ahead of the U.S. in sports betting. So Betway certainly knows what they're doing, and they've had a lot of experience. And it's like I said, I saw him one time watching a hockey game, and I haven't stopped hearing about him since. So good for Betway.
No, Betway's growing fast in the United States as well as overall. So shall we end on some legislation?
Sure.
Some exciting legislation.
Oh yeah.
Chicago City Council has approved the lifting of the ban for sportsbooks to be in the city's stadiums.
Great.
With an additional 2% tax. So it's about a 19% tax for a sportsbook in the city of Chicago.
It'll be worth it. Still better than New York.
It opens the fields, no pun intended there, Soldier Field, Wrigley Field, Guaranteed Rate Field, the United Center, and Wintrust Arena. Wintrust Arena is kind of interesting. They're the ones that are owned and operated by the WNBA team.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be one of the first women-owned sports books in Illinois.
Great.
We had Ohio. We're still waiting for the governor to sign the bill. By the time this airs, he may have already signed it.
Yeah. My God.
It's
taking so long?
It was transmitted to his office. Last reports I've seen as we're taping this. No word on when he's going to sign. He's got about 10 days to sign it, something like that.
Okay.
But according to the lawmakers there, it's going to include in-state college betting.
Okay.
So you're going to have the opposite of Jersey. Jersey bans all in-state collegiate betting.
Well, that failed in a referendum. Apparently, the voters didn't want it. So
yeah.
So we couldn't bet on the Army-Navy game because it was a collegiate event happening in New Jersey. So it was off our sports books.
Well, just so you know, more money was riding on the Army-Navy game than any other event on a Saturday, featuring a full slate of NBA, NHL, and college basketball games and a UFC card.
Well, it's such a big event.
Well,
although, again, we couldn't bet on it in New Jersey because we have that crazy rule.
Well, again, what are you going to do? I mean, It's really the only bet that really is solid is do the under. I wonder when that's
going to change.
What,
16 years in a row
yep.
They hit the under, and the under this year was about, 34, 33 in some books, and still they hit the under. I'm curious to see what next year's over-under are going to be.
And last but not least, let's talk about a little bit of New York here. We're still waiting on online or mobile betting to start in New York, and while that's happening and things are in motion for that, we're seeing some new legislation filed that would actually already expand the market.
Yeah, I mean, it hasn't even, really hit full stride yet in New York, and all of a sudden there's legislation to really expand it.
We have Bill A8538 introduced by New York Assemblyman J. Gary Pretlow.
Okay.
To allow OTBs and pro sports venues to have mobile betting kiosks, and also to expand New York's mobile betting options to include fixed odds horse wagering. So right off the bat, we're seeing an expansion of a market that is anticipating the launch of a market.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I'm sure they're going to do this. I mean, it just seems logical. If you're going to have mobile sport, look, let's be honest about the kiosks in the sport arenas. You have your phone. You can bet. You can bet in the sports arenas, but now you're just putting a kiosk in there. So not having kiosks doesn't prevent people from betting in the sports stadiums.
I'm going to be very curious to see in the New York arenas, will they block other sports books if they don't have a deal with them?
Who knows? I don't know.
There's software out there to block stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if that's going to be kind of a key thing for some of these arenas. I mean, if you walk into the Garden, they already have a deal, I think, with Caesars and BetMGM. If you walk in there with a none of neither of those, will you be able to use it?
There might be, handshake agreements saying, hey, look, we're not going to do that if you don't do that with ours. So, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, at some point.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a wink and a nod, and
they're all going to be like that probably. Well, that's it for this week's Turnpike Sports Book Report. Keep those press releases coming in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com. Don't forget, if you're watching us on the television, we have our news ticker going with additional stories that we didn't touch here, and also the print version of the book report will be coming out after this episode airs. That has even more stories that we didn't talk about. So please check it out, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button there, and you'll see the print book report up and ready for your review.
And that'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.